How is it to fly around the world as a national player? What makes a good coach? How does it feel to have achieved something unique that no one else has achieved to date? And why play can be the basis for a happy family? Karin gave me the answers to all these questions in episode 21 of the WalkyTalkyPodcast. Welcome back to the WalkyTalkyPodcast, to the first episode in 2023, and I'm super happy to have a new guest and can continue my little project here with Karin. Karin is today my guest. I want to talk a bit how we met before I let her talk and introduce her. And the funny thing is, I am again a guest in my podcast because I'm sitting with Karin in Karin's kitchen. And this happened before a couple of times when I sit down with my guests, because I'm on a journey. I'm traveling around and meet beautiful people. And Karin and Peter were so nice, let me house sit in September last year, taking care of Torvi, the little beautiful dog. And we became friends, and I figured out that Karin has a nice story and probably a bit to tell about her life. And I asked her that if she would like to be my guest. And here she is. Welcome, Karin, to the WalkyTalkyPodcast. How are you just in this moment? How are you feeling?
Well, hello, Jan. How am I feeling? I'm fine. It's a cloudy, rainy day outside. It'd be nice if it was sunny.
Yeah.
But, it's a Saturday. It's all good. Yeah, this is just an unusual event. I don't usually sit down and talk about myself with, but other than that, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that's no problem. Like I said to you before, I would love to walk and talk, which is probably close to the name. We don't have the equipment to do that. Maybe we can do that again at one point, or I will do that at one point. But the walkie-talkie stands more for moving. And we sit down here, and you said it's rainy. It's a January in Victoria. It's a pretty normal weather because it's a long gray winter here. My other question I would like to start in the episodes is always, what do you think about encounter things or encountering things in general? Do you ever thought about how you encounter things? And do you ever thought about it?
No, not really. I mean,
No? Yeah.
What do you mean by encountering?
Yeah, like
what have you encountered?
yeah, like how do you encounter like things? Like it can be humans, it can be animals, it can be your current situation. Are you aware of encounter things, or it just happens, or you never thought about it? Because we encountered each other at some point when... And
why did we encounter each other? Well, because you saved our butt, really, because we were going on holiday.
Yeah.
And we had some house sitters lined up, and they bailed 2 days before we left.
Yeah.
So a bit of a panic.
That can be an encounter as well, like encounter situation.
Yeah, okay.
So
we were in a bit of a panic.
Yeah.
And we reached out sort of, out to whatever, the web or the cloud. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And then you responded, and we had a nice meeting right away. It was interesting because you said we had already heard from somebody else.
Yeah.
And you said, well, really, just let me come and see you and talk to you.
Yeah.
And which was the best thing that happened, because Torvi, the dog, she was so taken with you. And we thought, well, this was a perfect match, right? And then we were, relaxed, just comfortable enough to say, yeah, take the house, take the dog, and off we went.
It's interesting because when I look back how we first met and how that happened is interesting, because I was house sitting in another house at this time, and I was waiting for my work visa, and I was not sure what's happening, if I get it or not. Yeah. And I was kind of, I don't know where to go after the house sit where I was, which ended in 2 days. Yeah. And then I got the message from you, like, can you house it? And then I felt like, damn, I'm already late. I didn't saw the call. Right. And I texted you back, and then you said, no, we have someone coming tomorrow, but thanks. And I was like, damn, I need this house sit. Like, otherwise I will stay in my motorhome, or I don't know where to go with all my stuff again. Yeah. And I was like, well, I have lots of experience. I love dogs. So, and I thought about, like, when you house it, why not having a choice? Like,
yeah, fair.
And then I
enough.
saw like maybe it's a bit unfair to the other person, but I give it a try. Maybe I don't get it, but I get the chance to say hello.
It was bold.
Maybe
we just hadn't thought of it. But the lucky thing is, remember, you mentioned you played soccer, or we saw a shirt that you had on, and then suddenly you knew all these people that Peter, my husband, knew, and well, you were a shoo-in from then. All you had to do was say soccer to my husband, and it's like, yeah, okay, he's the man, right there.
Another time where soccer saved my ass. Yeah. So, what was your first impression when you encountered me? You remember that? He's ringing the bell. He's making the dog crazy.
Well, you were very good with Torvi, and so initially we thought, well, that's the best thing, because we were having some trouble with Torvi. So, she's a rambunctious dog and not that keen with other dogs, but you're a young fellow, you're strong, well-natured, and she just took to you. So but you almost want to step back and say, no, this is too good to be true. So, you sort of say, you go with your gut going, oh yeah, this would work. But we had already interviewed the girl, so how do you let her down? Gently, So it just worked when you came in. It was your rapport with Torvi that, of course, because that's why you're here.
Yeah. This was the first time that you did house dog sitting? Was it something because it's getting more and more...
Yes.
What do you say? It's more common? Yeah.
For us, it was the first time. Because, we didn't realize people would come and do that. And they'd want to do it. And they do it for free. Because in the past, I know our neighbors had house sitters, but they're local people. Yeah. And so they charge you for it. Yeah. But, it's a win-win. We need someone to take care of the dog. And it's nice to have someone, if you're away a long time, it's nice to have somebody in the house, watering the plants or whatever. But then you also, as you said, you didn't have to sleep in your camper. You got to have a bed, a warm bed to sleep in, kitchen, TV, all that. And a cuddly friend. You had Torvi to hang out with.
Best friend,
so, yeah. So it seems to be working out, but it's difficult. We can't get you back. You're busy working, so we can't have you again because you're busy. So now each time, we've had to find somebody else. And sometimes they work better than others. They all seem to be good people. But, Torvi's a big, strong dog. So she needs to have someone who can, handle her.
We're sitting now in Victoria. I was house sitting in your house. But I know that you not ever lived in Victoria. So who is Karin? Who's sitting in front of me? Who is this person? Where are you from? Why do you have a Dutch surname? And tell us a bit about...
So how come you're not... And if you saw that name in Germany, how would you say it?
Karin. Oh, in German? Karin Maassen.
Karin Maassen. But the Karin. Yeah, that's how my parents would say it.
Karin?
Yeah. Whereas you're just...
It's not Karin.
No.
Yeah, that's the English version.
Yeah, it's no more Karin. But yeah. Why? Well, I was Dutch parents who immigrated to Halifax, Canada. They came by boat and went through Pier 21. So if you're Canadian, that is where a lot of immigrants came through. They call it Pier 21 in Halifax, and then from there they would disperse to all parts of Canada by train, except my
Do you
parents.
remember when that happened?
It was, I want to say 54 or so, something like that, give or take.
Yeah.
1954, because I know my older brother was born in Holland, and then they came over by boat. And then the rest of us, I've another brother and a sister, and myself, and the three of us were born in Canada, in Halifax. So I spent my first 30 years in Halifax, and then got married, and then we decided to just try something different. Mm-hmm. So we went from one coast to another and ended up
going to the milder place.
Yeah, that was a bit of a sell. It was.
Yeah, was it?
Well, it's green. This is like the Mediterranean of Canada, or the Florida of Canada, right? It's mild, it's green. It's a small city, not like Montreal or Toronto or Vancouver.
How was growing up in Halifax? Which year you born?
57.
57. So 30 years, like you spent a long time on the East Coast.
I did.
How was growing up in the 60s in Halifax?
In the 60s, I would have been just young, right? Just a kid. It's fine. Yeah, I don't know. What did we do?
Was it big? Was it?
It was about the same size as Victoria, right? It's funny. We were where we lived. You don't always appreciate where you live until you grow up.
And looking back,
Looking back, it's like I was 30 seconds from my high school. I could walk, like just up the hill. We could walk to the downtown. I could walk to the university. I could walk to the shopping areas. Yeah, we had a, 4-bedroom house. Yeah. It was a nice little nice property, but we were so close. Like I rode my bike, in those days, families only had one car, right? Yeah. So you either walked or rode your bike, and everything was so accessible. And now looking back, it's like, wow, we were sort of...
That was a dream.
It was a good area. Yeah, it was a good location.
Yeah.
And we just thought, well, this is normal.
Did you ever... You were always late in school because you were the closest?
Generally I
it's
would...
because there's this thing, like I have this feeling, worked a lot in schools, that the kids who are living closest always late.
Yeah, but it was all the other kids that always sort of... They ratted on you. Because I had an 8:15 German class one year, and I swear I would sleep till 8:15, pull the toque over my head and run up to the class every time. And she would ask me, so, why are you late again? I said, I'm sorry, I missed my bus. And all the kids, they go, she doesn't take the bus, right? She just lives down the street. It's like, thanks, guys.
What was the best excuse? Was it the best excuse that you said, I missed the bus because you don't come by bus?
Well, it didn't work because all the kids ratted on me. So it really didn't work. So I was late. There's no excuse. I was late because I was late, because I got up late.
I remember that I tried once when I was late, and the teacher asked me, like, why are you late? And I was like, the metro, like the train, had a flat tire. And
that didn't work?
Well, for a few seconds, we're like, okay, and then, oh no, that's not possible. They don't have tires.
No.
Yeah. I know that you were pretty athletic, and you did a lot of sport when you were young. And how did you become a volleyball player? Because that was your sport at the end. What was your first contact with volleyball?
I guess it would be junior high, They had a team, and so I went out, and then after that I would take some summer camps. And then I guess when I was in high school, they had tryouts. So here we have the Canada Games.
Yeah.
And so each province puts in a team, and then they all play at the Canada Games. So whether it's basketball, volleyball, track and field, all the sports, right? So the winter and the summer Canada Games. So I just tried out for the team, hoping I would learn something, because I wasn't very good. I was an athlete, right?
So your mindset was like, I want to learn something.
Yeah, I just wanted to learn. And then each tryout, I'd make the next, I wouldn't get cut. I'd make the next tryout and the next tryout. Because actually I was hoping to try out for the basketball team. I was a much better basketball player.
Oh, yeah? Interesting.
In high school, I thought. And so I just never got cut. So then I ended up not going to the basketball tryouts because I made the volleyball team.
Yeah.
And so that would have been in 1975, went to the Canada Games. And then I guess I was noticed there. So then I was asked to go to the junior national tryout camp. So that would be the Canadian junior team. So I tried out for that. I made that. So that's sort of what got me on a more of serious route to volleyball.
Where came the motivation from to try these things out and go there and there? Like, was it just because you had the most fun there, or you felt you had a good, people say you're talented, you should do that, or your parents? Or?
Well, I would just, any sport, I would just try any sport. I started with swimming. because my mom was a swim coach. That was her sport. And then I did track for a while. I did basketball. So I did those sports first, and then I ended up in volleyball. And then, like I said,
but it was not really like there was not somebody around you who pushed you in this direction, or had a...
Not like I pushed my children.
Yeah, we will talk about later about that.
No, just kidding. Yeah. No, it's just because I played it and I tried out, and I thought, well, I'm not going to quit. I kept making the teams. And I think it's just because, and I did dance, okay? So I did take ballet lessons. And I think that helped with my athleticism, with
I just want to ask if that has an impact in...
I think for my jumping and my balance and coordination, I think it was probably tremendous. Plus I was fast, I could run. So when I got to the volleyball court, I could run, I was fast, and I could jump.
Which is good for volleyball.
Which is sort of helps a little bit in volleyball. Yeah. So then I made junior national team. So then I went to university after that. I got sort of recruited for volleyball. I thought I was going to get recruited for basketball. I wasn't recruited by anyone because they all thought I was going to play volleyball. I thought I was going to play basketball.
Right.
So, so I ended up going to Dalhousie for all my years of volleyball.
And how is the volleyball system, or I don't know, maybe it changed. How did the volleyball system work back in the days? You play in a league, or you play in the whole national league? How's that working? Who do you play against? Like other universities?
Yeah, so here in Canada, the universities are your stepping stone to elite sport.
Yeah.
Right? So from high school, you can play some club teams, but we don't have club teams like you have in Europe. Yeah. So if you want to play elite, well, in my sport anyways, hockey. Yeah. Hockey's different. But so I went and played at university, and then we play other universities in our part of the country, down in the east, and then you have a national championships. So in those days it was CIAUs. They've changed the names.
Yeah. For what it stands for?
CIAU, Canadian Intercollegiate Athletic Union. I'm not even sure. I could be wrong.
Yeah, we can cut that off.
Oops. But anyways, and so in my 4th year of playing, we won the national championships, 1982. And that was the first time that any Atlantic team, so the Atlantics, we have Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, PEI, and Newfoundland, Newfoundland Labrador. And those are the Atlantic provinces, 4 of the Atlantic provinces. And there had never been a team that had won at the nationals, university nationals, in volleyball, men or women. So we won ever before. And still 50, or no, it's not 40 years later, nobody has won a gold at nationals. Yeah. So, we made a bit of history that year.
Well, you made a lot of history because, like you said, it's the only time Dalhousie University won the national championship in volleyball.
Or any university.
And
from the Atlantic.
And you were the captain as well, I remember, right? Yeah. So, do you remember how the team setup was? Like why you were what was the reason why you won it at the end? I mean, there's never one thing. It's a lot of things that have to be combined to win.
Well, sure. I mean, we had some talent, but we were not rated. We were not expected to win. Mm-hmm. We'd been to a number of tournaments. We'd always lost in the finals. The papers called us the bridesmaids, never the bride. We had done a lot of traveling in the couple of years to tournaments all across the country. But really, our coach is the reason. She is the reason because, one, she was able to get us grants so that we could do a little extra traveling to get out of the Atlantic provinces, to get better opportunities to play some higher caliber. Yeah. But she was a woman, Lois McGregor, and she was way ahead of her time in terms of, I mean, you got to understand volleyball. You know, as in any team sport, you have...
Are we talking the year 79?
No, this is 82.
Oh, 82.
But, okay,
Yeah.
so I started in, when did I first play? 76, did I play?
Yeah.
76, 77, but then I played and then I'd take a couple years off and I'd play and take a couple years off. So my 5 year, because you only play 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it stretched over a number of years.
Yeah.
You know, I'd come and go.
Yeah.
But anyways, this particular year, she usually in volleyball, you have your tallest players playing in the middle, your strongest players, your strongest hitters, usually playing power. So what she did, she took our strongest hitter and moved her to the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So we had her blocking strengths plus her hitting strengths in the middle. And she took our tallest player and moved her to the right side so she could block the powers hitters from the other team. And then I could still set her backside. You could still hit from there, but it wasn't the concept back then.
Yeah.
Your main hitters. So it was how she took everybody's strengths and moved them to the positions that would best suit us.
Yeah.
And and just worked us, and so positive. In those days, it was very common to have a lot of negative feedback, especially men coaching women. No, I shouldn't say it. I shouldn't put that out there. You can scratch that off.
Yeah. That's
but
not again.
but you know, quite often it wasn't as positive as it is now. It's quite common to have very positive motivation to get players to play well. In those days, it was, you know, it wasn't always the case. And she was
it more
always
drilling and more like
just belittling players sometimes and being rude and just saying, you know, don't be so stupid. You know, come on, you can work harder than that. Whereas she was going, oh, nice try. You know, well done. You know, that was good. You know, or give us goals that were realistic, you know.
Yeah.
If you're playing a team and you're not expected to win, you know, she would point out all the good things that we did and say, well, if we work on this. And she always had a fabulous scouting plan, right? You scout the other team. This was before you had computers and video cameras.
Exactly,
and
that's
all
what I want to mention. The year is 82
Oh, that's
then.
true. Yeah, we would be sitting in the stands watching them, writing down the notes. So a couple of the players would say, these are the hitting tendencies of certain players. And somebody else would take, this is where they line up on defense. And this is where you can score on them. This is where da-da-da-da-da. And then she would, before every game, she would give us the lowdown and say, this is what we have to do to beat them. And this is what they're going to try to do
to beat us,
to attack us.
Yeah.
And I've never had a coach. I've had a number of coaches, and I've never had one as thorough as Lois was in preparing us.
And then you went through the championship. Mm-hmm. How's the draw? Like, you play in a group, or you play always knockout, or you?
Things have changed over the year. We had how many groups? We had to play a round robin, and then you had crossovers.
So round robin is kind of like going into the.
I guess it would. I'm not sure. It'd be 4.
It's before the first round.
I don't know. It'd be 8 and 8.
Yeah.
Or 8. Would it be 4 groups of 4 or just 2 groups of 4? I can't remember how many teams. There was at least, must have been 5. There's 10 provinces. And that doesn't even work out evenly. I'm not sure if there are 10 or 12 teams. Right?
But at the end, you have a final?
Yes, yeah.
And who do you play against?
Oh, Calgary. UFC.
Calgary.
University of Calgary.
And you play best of 3, best of 5?
Best of 5, and went to 5 games.
It went to 5 games?
Went to 5 games, right down to the wire.
What was the first game?
I don't know. I think we won the first 2.
You won the first 2, then they came back 2-2?
I think so, but I'm not even sure.
Then you had the final.
You see, like I said, I don't remember a lot of all
It's no
these
problem.
details.
If I remember that we sat down in 30 years.
40.
40 years. I'm fine.
I remember we won. Yeah. It was pretty amazing. And this isn't in a basketball town. And it was.
So you played in Calgary?
No, in Halifax. We played at home. And the stand, it was packed.
How many people?
Absolutely packed. Anywhere between 1,000 and 2,000. I'm not sure how many.
Yeah.
But, you know, this was in the Dowplex, you know, at the Dalhousie. And it was standing room only. And it was amazing to have the crowds there. Because, you know, it took a number of years for volleyball to build up a following.
Exactly,
You know, we'd be lucky to have 10 or 20 people in the stands, right? But over the course of the couple years, by the time we hit the championships, right? And of course, we were doing well.
Yeah.
So we were in the finals. So yeah.
The underdog.
Yeah, that's right. That's the word I was looking for.
I think that's
we were the underdogs.
That makes the story as well.
Time.
Huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah. The underdog went to the final.
Yeah.
And they never won the championship at all. And then they win at home. Was it the biggest game you ever played? Like emotional wise or?
Yeah, absolutely. And because we won too.
Yeah.
It was at national championships and we won and the place just went wild. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. Pretty special to do it at home. Yeah.
I know that you went back to the university a couple of weeks ago. What was the reason?
A couple months ago.
It's months ago already? Time flies. Yeah, I think it's months ago, yeah.
November.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just to get the team was inducted into the Nova Scotia Sport Hall of Fame. And I was inducted as the athlete into the Hall of Fame. So it was pretty cool. It was nice to go back and see all my teammates again. And, every time we go back, a lot of them still live in Halifax and they see each other, but it doesn't matter, and there's a number of us that are from away now. But we go back and you just reconnect as if you'd seen them yesterday. And, just reminiscing about all the things the stories we had.
Do you think you had still the same connection if you would not win the championship?
That's a good question.
Because we just talked about before we started recording about
Yeah.
how important is the relationship you just build in these team sports when you're young. And sometimes it doesn't matter if you win or lose. It's just making friends and having a good relationship. I mean, of course, you don't know, but what do you feel like? If you think like if you not win it, you probably still achieved a lot.
I would still be in contact with some of them.
Yeah.
But because we won, it brings us together. We've been brought together as a team like every decade for different functions. This is not our first induction into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I think this is our third as a team.
Yeah.
Right?
Are you proud of yourself?
I'm sure I'm proud of myself. I'm more proud of the team. Because it's volleyball. It's like I couldn't do any of that by myself.
Yeah.
Right? What would I be by myself? I'm a setter, right? I need someone to hit the ball. I need someone to pass me the ball.
Yeah.
I needed a team. And, there's 12 of us on the team. And whether you play or not, every player was so important. Some of them have different roles. And some of them were just, like we said earlier, some of them in university do not play a lot. Some of them probably didn't step on the court that whole tournament at the end.
Yeah.
But they were still instrumental in us winning because they were there for the whole year. They had to be there for practices, because
to challenge you.
Absolutely, right? Yeah. And we had such a mishmash of players. On paper, some of us looked good, and some of us didn't look like they could hold their own. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Compared to some of the other teams, right? But we just gelled so well. So that's, credit to the personnel, the team, how we were able to work together, and how Lois, the coach, was able to bring us all together. So I find it, humbling or embarrassing to get an award
for yourself,
for myself, when it's very much a team thing.
Yeah, I still don't know how I like it to get individual trophies for players in team sport. Yeah, because it's a team sport.
It's not.
Of course, we're always looking for the best and for the special one, and who gets the, who scores the most and stuff. And then, but we should not forget it's a team sport, and you cannot play this game alone.
Yeah, it's an honor. It's an honor that they do recognize me, and that's very nice. And I always enjoy it because then I get to go back and then visit with them, because it's not like I go back to Halifax that often. So when I do, and this is all arranged for us, it's like, oh, this is great. We have a party. And somebody else has arranged it for us. It was great.
Yeah.
So that's good. And just to reconnect and see how their lives have all, they've all changed.
Yeah.
And some are still playing volleyball or they're doing other things,
You were the captain.
We had co-captain. I was captain with another woman. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Does it have an impact to your game at one point? Or how was it to be a captain, to lead a group? You felt like you have to lead, or how was your way to be a captain?
I think I would have been the same whether I was captain or not. Part of it is my role as a setter. Part of it is my role as what the coach wanted me to do. As, she guides everybody in their... I was supposed to be one of the leaders on the court. But I also had the most experience. I was the oldest one.
That helps to lead?
Well, and I also played national team, right? So I had a lot more experience than the others. And I was a lot older. Well, a lot older. In university, what's a couple of years makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I had all that experience. So therefore, I worked together with Lois to figure out what's the best way to lead and get the most out of the team, I guess.
So you tried like leading the team as a captain, just don't try to change, be yourself and try do the best performance and help around if they need help or advice, whatever.
Yeah.
Don't try to make too many different things because you're a captain now.
I don't know. I just played my game.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's exactly what happened because you probably not oversaw it.
Well, I guess Lois' philosophy, being positive, so positive is always, it's be positive, right? Mm-hmm. Because volleyball, it's a game of mistakes. Yeah. It's the team that makes the least amount of mistakes is wins.
Yeah.
So you can't get on someone for making a mistake. It's like, it's okay. It's a nice try. Let's do better next time. Let's try again, right? So you win some points, you lose some points. It's like, okay, no big deal. Let's get the next one. It's always, let's try the next one.
Be in the present. Forget the past.
Yeah, learn from the past.
Learn from the past.
Can't forget it. You got to learn from the past. Yeah. I mean, and we always, our slogan was 1 point at a time. So not looking at the future, not looking at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's
right.
Well,
create the future in
those
the present.
days, the game only went to 15. I'd forgotten about that. Game went to 15, and you only scored a point when you served.
Whereas so if the serve changed, you don't get a point.
That's right. You try to get a side out.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten that.
Yeah.
And whereas now it's rally point. So it doesn't matter who serves, whoever wins the rally gets a point.
Yeah.
Right. So it was always 1 point at a time, and you could always turn it around.
Yeah. I know that you in Canada pretty much used to traveling because it's a huge country, and to get to get competitions you have to travel up to when you play at a certain level. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned already that you played for the national team as well. Mm-hmm. How did that go? How did they how was the invitation? Was it kind of a thing that will happen because I'm a good player, or do you were surprised or excited, or what do you remember the first of the time when the national team called you up?
Well, with the junior team, it never was a sure thing, especially since I was from the East. Nobody from the East had ever made national team in volleyball.
Okay. So
I was the first one. So you think, well, you go to tryouts again.
Yeah.
Going to learn something from the people, because the West, Ontario and Quebec were always big volleyball. And then West and the Prairies, and then BC. Everybody was better than the Maritimes.
Yeah.
Right? So never did I think I would actually make the team, but I did. So, and learned a lot, and we trained a lot. But you're right, there's so much traveling. So what I remember more so, first I was on the junior team, then I made national team, and we're always the fittest team, right? Internationally.
Yeah.
We could run anyone down in a mile race, I'm sure. But the other players got way more playing experience. If you're playing in Europe, all the countries are so close by.
Yeah.
And there's so many leagues, elite leagues.
Yeah.
And they could,
It's just higher competition.
They played. And so their skill or their game awareness was so much better than ours.
Yeah.
Because it took so much for us to travel around the world, so expensive, so much flying. I mean, we did it, of course, but most of the time we spent training. There was no leagues that we could play in. And we're from all across the country, so either we had to get together in one center and live together for a couple of years, you know, or they'd pull you together and you'd go to a tournament, but then you hadn't practiced together. So it's not the ideal situation. It's better now because a lot of the players go to Europe and they play in Europe or in Asia too, I think. So they get a lot of game experience. And then they pull them together maybe a month or two before elite competitions. And so they have the playing experience and then they get together and train. And they're doing much better, I think, these days.
Yeah, it's a lot more...
They're a lot more competitive.
Yeah. And I guess traveling 40 years ago was a bit different as well.
I don't know. Still by plane.
Well, you know better than me.
Wasn't by boat.
It wasn't by boat.
We went by plane, and I think, actually, it wasn't as crowded. People weren't traveling as much.
It was pretty privileged to fly, right?
It was, and sometimes we'd have a couple of, nobody would be sitting in front of us. And you could put the chair down, all the way down, and stick your feet on top of the chair in front of you.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So you almost had one of those, those sleeping pods.
Yeah.
And this was just regular. That's only if nobody was sitting in front of you, but you could push the thing right down.
Yeah.
It was lovely. Yeah.
And was that like, how was the diet back in these days? You had like, how?
Well, they actually fed you on the airplane. Oh, our diet?
Yeah.
When you traveled, they actually gave you meals, right?
Yeah. Well, no, in general, like as an athlete.
Well, I mean, maybe they tried to teach us that. Not as much, not like they do the nutrition. We didn't have a nutritionist working with us. We didn't have a lot of psychologists. Every now and then they'd maybe pull in a psychologist and talk to us once or twice, but not like they do. It's way more research and scientific now.
Yeah.
A lot more support for the teams. We barely had enough money to live on, right? So, if you're eating Kraft dinner and hot dogs, that's all you can afford. That's what you live on.
What was the biggest game with the Canadian national team for you then? How long you played for the national team?
Oh, a few years. I don't know. 9 years.
Oh, that's a lot.
That's including junior and senior together.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Well, I don't remember specific games. I mean, we went to World Championships. We went to Norseca. We went to the Universiade, which are the student games. I've played in, I've been played in the Soviet Union when it was the Soviet Union, in Moscow and Leningrad, and I've played in Germany and Holland and Italy and Japan and Korea and China, so in South America and the States. So, I've played everywhere. A lot of places.
Australia?
I didn't play volleyball there. Been there.
Yeah.
Didn't play volleyball. Right. Yeah. But I don't remember a specific game because we didn't win. Not like we did in university.
Yeah.
So that's why the university one.
You remember better.
So special.
Yeah.
And played in front of a home crowd. Yeah. I mean, I just remember we saw a lot of gyms, we saw a lot of countries. Once in a while, they'd take you out for some fabulous meals, great meals in Italy. We saw the Shanghai Circus when they only performed in Shanghai. We had Peking duck in Peking before it became Beijing.
Yeah.
Right. And, saw the Great Wall of China. They took us on quite the tours when we were in China, because that was in 1978 and 1979, before they were really opened up to tourism.
Yeah.
And they were trying to, I think, promote the country. But usually, you just traveled and saw a bus, saw a gym.
When you look back to all this traveling with the team, what do you take out of it the most for your rest of your life? Like, when you look back,
what did I enjoy about it? I just loved playing at that level. It was, where you're playing the elite of the elite, right? And then you're in awe of some of your opponents. Some of them are just amazing, right? I mean, I know we were the elite of Canada, and sometimes, you had some good games. We won some games, lost some games. That's the way it goes. But just to be able to step on the court and play with them, point for point, or not. Oh, Cuba, and oh my goodness. I think every woman could dunk a basketball. Like they were just jumping out of the gym, right? And that was pretty amazing to do that. So,
did you learn more from losses or from wins? Winning a game?
Well, winning was way more fun.
For sure, yeah. Winning is always more fun. Yeah.
Do you lose from the losses? Well, it depends.
Where you learn more, yeah.
I don't. That was so long ago, right? And it really depended on the coaches how they handled the losses. Some were pretty good. Yeah. I mean, Lois at university, she would talk to us and say, this is what happened, this is why we lost, this is what we needed to do. And then there would be some coaches that go, what? Why'd you lose? Why'd you lose? Like, I don't know, you tell me, you're the coach. Yeah. Right? That's what you get paid the big bucks, So it really depended on the coach, right? How they handled it, whether you would learn anything or not.
Right. When you were a child, I mean, at one point we always get this question, what was your dream job? What were you thought about you want to become at one point in your life? Do you have like a dream of, I want to be, I don't know, a dancer or a singer or whatever? Was there something?
I wanted to dunk a basketball, but apparently I wasn't tall enough.
That was your biggest, that was the thing. I know,
was that my biggest?
No, but just,
that was one of them.
If I ask this question, it comes up. Yeah.
Well, I just remembered it. No, I wanted to go to the Olympics. And I didn't.
Oh, really?
And
as a basketball player?
No. I just wanted to go to the Olympics. Could have been as a swimmer, as a basketball player, as a volleyball player. As an athlete. I mean, what athlete doesn't dream of doing that? And then if you don't go, it's a bit of a disappointment, isn't it? Yeah. So.
Did you go?
But, no, I didn't.
No. Was it like Canada didn't qualify?
I wasn't playing on the team. They have been, but not when I was an athlete on the team. So.
But you had like from an early age on, like the idea and the feeling of I want to be an athlete?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, because that's what came easy to me. I could play any sport.
Soccer?
If maybe, not now. Maybe if I'd started early enough, but I think in soccer I have 2 left feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but if I'd picked up any sport, I probably could have.
When you look at your life now, sitting here with me in your kitchen in Victoria, is there an event or a person or something which has the biggest impact that you are right here now and living the life you live? Or lived the life you live?
Well, right now, the biggest impact would have been marrying Peter and moving out here. It's the only reason I'm here. Right? I mean, my life now is so much different than, as an athlete, Lois was my university. She was the best coach I ever had. And she taught me a lot about, and not just volleyball, about, just life and stuff. Yeah. So, but that's so many years ago.
Well, but still can have a big impact. Like
sure, and quite often, when I've been coaching, and quite often I get in a situation and say, well, what would Lois do? Right?
Yeah.
So I think she's been one of the biggest impacts, probably.
And you said like meeting your husband and having a family and moving over here. Did that have an impact, like having a family, start having kids?
Well, I think
children?
Yeah, it's been the best part of my life is having a family, having my kids. Everything is centered around that now, right? But it's wonderful because there's, we get along so well. We have so much fun together, whether it's meals or going on holidays or going to play frisbee golf or going to play volleyball because they all play volleyball. Yeah. They didn't have too much. That's not true. They played a lot of different things, but I know I certainly encourage volleyball because volleyball you have such a long lifespan for volleyball. There's indoor volleyball, there's co-ed volleyball, there's beach volleyball. There's, now it's called spike ball. I mean, I'm still playing volleyball, right? And you can't do that with, every sport. And it's so social.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just about the volleyball. Oh my goodness, my university years was like, you had to play, but you also had to party. I mean, that was the lifestyle of playing volleyball back in this, in the 70s and early 80s.
Well, you said like your family is probably one of the most beautiful things you have, or you had. Was volleyball and the team for your family as well?
Well, we did. We'd play beach volleyball when the kids were young, or grass volleyball, and I coached them.
No, but being in the team, playing in Dalhousie University and Canada national team, like, did you have the feeling that's kind of we're having kind of a small family as well? Or was it really professional, like we a team and we were and not that?
No, well, we were always looking out for each other, right? And and helping it's harder because I moved away, right? I think it would be different if I was there. I would be more involved with everyone.
Yeah.
And all
because
the
I
things
figured
that they
out
went
that
through.
I figured out, like, during growing up, always playing soccer and sometimes feeling like, why I'm doing it, and then I love this sport. I love playing. I love the question, like, why I'm doing it, why I'm doing this, why I'm doing this.
Okay, so
I figured out that soccer was not only the sport which kept me going doing this. It was sometimes or more often the social impact it's had, like having this group of people, kind of a small group of family, where I can go 2-3 times a week and being in a safe environment and having fun.
Sure. So I have that now. I have my women's team that I play with. But a few years ago, like, first I coached my kids, but what was way more fun was then once they grew up, then we started playing co-ed together. I started playing on the same teams with my kids.
Right.
And that was so much fun.
Yeah.
Right? Because now I wasn't their coach. Okay, maybe I was a little bit. But we were playing together.
Yeah.
Right? And so we have the game, the fun of competing, but the fun of playing it with your family. And then you go home afterwards and you're chit-chatting about the game. Like, this was really good, this was really neat. And then somebody did this. And then, or you go out for, something to eat and drink afterwards. Yeah. So it was the social, but it was the social with the family.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I think, sometimes I think we're a little closer than some families, because it's sort of like the family that plays together stays together. Yeah. Right? And we've always played,
That's a beautiful sentence. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
For me, absolutely.
We would go down on holidays, and at a certain point, I remember the kids were young, but at a lot of these resorts, we go down to Mexico and they have the resorts and they have the volleyball.
Yeah.
And we would play as a family, sort of, against the other teams, right? Yeah. Yeah. And it was amazing. And you have pictures of them when they're just, I don't know, 12, 13 years old, diving in the sand or whatever, and trying to play together.
I never thought about that. It makes totally sense, because we, like my family, like, we always played every game, every sport. Like, we always played, had fun together, being outside, and it's say it again. Who plays together stays together.
A family that plays together stays together.
Yeah, that's sweet.
And now we've taken up. Our son Gavin is getting into disc golf, and so whenever he comes home, we try to get together and have a game of disc golf. It doesn't matter what it is, but it's to get out together and play something, and then you come home and chit chat and talk about it, and just it's nice to have that competition, but in the end, it doesn't really matter who wins or loses. And that's what I find now in national team, university. It's always important who wins. I mean, that's the nature of playing at the elite level. Yeah. And now when I play, sure, you're trying to win, when we're playing co-ed or whatever, but then afterwards, I don't care. Like, I don't remember. Like, did you win? Well, I guess we won some games, probably lost some games. And now you're social with the people on the other side of the net. You wouldn't do that in university. You wouldn't talk to anyone on the other side.
Yeah.
But now it's the social. So you laugh at each other. If I block somebody and go, oh, they say, oh yeah, nice block, or they block me or whatever. And you're chit-chatting nicely through the net. Yeah. Whereas before it was so competitive. You just, they're... Yeah.
Well, maybe you needed this. I think you needed it as well to figure out how much joy it can be to don't have always this competition, right? So you know both sides.
Yes.
So you can enjoy the joyful part now even more, probably, because you had the high competition.
Yeah, and I just feel lucky that I can still play at my age.
Yeah. How old are you?
You figure it out. I just told you.
57?
No, yeah, you're so sweet, aren't you? Yeah. And I'm 65.
Well, you're born in 57, right?
Yes, born in 57. I just had my 65th birthday last month.
In December? Are you celebrating in Mexico?
No, I was here.
Yeah. When?
A couple of days before Christmas. But you missed our Christmas.
Yes.
So you didn't. You didn't get to.
No, I missed
celebrate
Christmas. Happy
with
birthday.
Us. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I was supposed to come for Christmas. My car had other plans.
Yes, you sure did.
You coach a lot, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of young athletes and volleyball players out there. And is there something, like if they would ask you for an advice to come to a higher level or to enjoy the game more or improve, is there something you would give them on the hands to do that or to do this less or?
You know what? I'll think of something tomorrow. Now that you asked me right now, I'm thinking, I know there's some profound, insight that I could give you. But what would you do? I think you have to enjoy it. And I think you have to put things in perspective, right? Because winning isn't everything. It's fun. It's nice. But if you're playing a team that is head and shoulders above you, set your goals a little different. Your goal should not be to win. Sure, you want to try and win. So maybe you'll fluke, you'll play out of your mind and you will. But it's, you can't get... Who you are is not based on whether you win. Who you are is based on who you are as a person. So as long as you do the best that you can. Doesn't mean you're going to win everything, but just do the best that you can. And you have to be happy with that.
And everybody has to figure out by themselves what's the best for him. Nobody can.
It's just trying hard. Yeah. I mean, but sometimes...
You have everybody has the feeling. Like, I have the feeling when I did the best. I tried my best. I feel it. And I feel if I didn't, right? So everybody has this feeling. Or can create this feeling, I'm pretty sure.
Sure. Yeah. You got to know that you tried your best. But in sports, there's so much emphasis placed on winning, right? And there are times when you try your best and you're still not going to win. Doesn't matter how hard you try.
Yeah.
And so you have to be okay with that.
Yeah, there's this sentence I like, is like, you cannot always lose. You cannot always... You should not always lose.
More people lose. People lose more often than there's only one winner.
No, you cannot always win, but it's your choice how you lose if you lose. Yeah. Right?
That's true.
So
be a good sport about it. I think that's important. In the long run, you have to show good sportsmanship. Yeah. And you'll be happier with yourself if you do that.
Yeah. If I lose, then I want to lose in the most competitive way, or in the I want to go out of the field and say, okay, I tried my best. And if they were better when I tried my best, fair enough. Yeah. I
always envied rugby. You always saw the rugby players playing, and then afterwards both teams go in and have a few beer together.
Yeah.
Right? And we never did that at our elite level in university. We do it now in recreation, but do
you have a dream you want to become true in your life? Is there something open which you really have? Yeah, this is something I want to do in my life still.
Yes and no. Let me see. I just want to hang out with, I just got a granddaughter. I just want to be there for my kids as they go on their journey of starting their family. And I just want to be there to support them. And they're just so much fun. right? My kids, Gavin and Brett, and now, and Brett's partner Mason, and their baby Rory. It's like it's just having fun with them, which we are, which is what we're doing.
Yeah.
But on another goal, a little more superficial, is I'd like to go on another biking trip around Europe.
Mm-hmm.
No, actually, no, scratch that. We've already done that. I want to see more of BC, whether it's biking or whatever. But I haven't seen enough of British Columbia, right? We always fly somewhere else for holidays, so that's sort of
there's lots to see here.
Yeah. And I want to go up island and do some kayaking or biking around here. Yeah.
You speak Dutch?
No.
Not at all?
A few words, but I can understand a little bit. But as soon as I open my mouth, the Dutch will start speaking English.
Okay.
Or German to me.
Oh, German, you speak German?
If I don't know a Dutch word, I'll replace it with a German one sometimes.
Yeah, then you can.
So then
find
they
a
will
way
start
to.
speaking German to me. I'm going, why are you speaking German? I said, well, what do you want me to speak? I said, well, English would be better.
Yeah.
Right? They have no idea what to talk to me about. But anyways, English is, yeah.
Thank you very much, Karin, for sharing your story and a lot of experience out of your life. And
You're welcome. Yes.
Any last sentence you have for?
No, I just gave you my profound
Yeah.
one.
Okay. We
right?
take that. Yeah. Don't want to push
Don't
it.
keep giving me one more. No, that's it.
Yeah. Fair enough. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Jan.
And a big thank you for being a friend, being invited to me, and sharing so many special moments already with me.
Yeah, well, it's just the beginning of a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.